Hi, I'm Keith Hartman. This is my channel, The OP Reserve. Today I'm going to teach you how to play the Overpower card game using nothing but cards from the very first set released in 1995. These cards are by far the most common, most readily available of any of the sets that were released in the 90s. These are the cards you're most likely to have in your closet, and the characters in this set predate the Intellect Power Grid, the fourth power type that came later, not much later, just 1996, but the first three sets only included the power types Energy, Fighting, and Strength. Those three sets were the original Marvel Overpower, Power Surge, and Mission Control. So if you have cards exclusively from those first three sets, then this video will help you get started quickly with the cards that you already have. First, I'm going to show you what cards might be in a deck that you would construct playing this style of Overpower. But keep in mind that this is not a perfect deck. I haven't played exclusively with 3-grid characters in years. But this deck that I'm about to show you is using the same principles that I would go about building an Overpowered deck using all available cards. I've just whittled it down to just the first set to keep this simple and hopefully keep this quick. The first thing I'm going to show you is what the components of a deck made just with the 3-grid cards just from the original 1995 set of Overpower would look like. I've picked characters that I feel are compatible. I haven't played this style in many, many years with just the original set. But this is my approximation of what I think it might look like. I haven't play tested this yet, and honestly, I probably won't really. But to get you started, if these are the only cards you have, here you go. This will give you a very good start in deck building and seeing what cards constitute a draw pile in this game. So for each of my 3 frontline characters, I've chosen 5 special cards. They are a balance of attack and defense. Hulk has 5, Colossus has 5, Beast has 5. You can get away with a little less or a little more. For the reserve character, because the reserve character during the game cannot attack, I only have 1 that is going to show up at some point and be useful. It's a big one. It's Thing's 10 strength attack. I have 3 of each numeric value of power cards. So I've got 3 8s, 3 7s, 6 5 4, 3 2, and 1. And you can kind of get a look at what the spread looks like. I've tried to take into consideration, well, you always need to take into consideration the stats, what is usable by each one of your characters, and you want to have some overlap generally. So I've got 3 8 strength power cards, 3 7 strength, 3 6 strength, and I'm starting to get down into the 5s, and Beast has a 5 fighting. I thought I'd throw one in there. And I've got the 4 multi-power, 4 energy that Colossus can play, 4 fighting that any character can play. A couple 3 fightings. Once we get down to the 2s, I've got a 2 energy, along with some multi-powers mixed in here too. I got the 2 energy because Hulk can play it, Colossus can play it. So I've got 2 characters who can play this instead of, say, just 1 that can play the 4 energy. I still wanted to slip it in for some variety to contribute to the follow-ups from the teamwork cards, which you can see I have 5 of. That's approximately what I think you would want in a 3-grid deck. I've got a couple of 6s. These would count as duplicates. A couple of 7 strength teamwork cards, and then 1 8 teamwork card. The 8 strength to use, Hulk can use, Thing can use when he comes to the front line. The 7, Hulk, Thing, and Colossus can use. The 6 strength to use, Beast can use, as well as the other ones. These 6 strength teamworks are the only ones that Beast will be able to play because of their requirement. 6 strength to use. I have 4 basic universe cards, which feels like way too many, but it may be about right because you have to reach the minimum card count for a deck, which in the original version is 51 cards. This deck that I've assembled here is 51 cards, not counting your character cards and not counting mission cards, which I'm not going to be demonstrating today. This is going to be pretty streamlined. I've included 2 training cards, which will boost the power cards for the weaker stats of these characters. In this case, energy and fighting. So these training cards are for those. The basic universe cards are for their strong suit, which is strength. 8, 8, 7, 6 in strength. And so I've included 4 basic universe cards that they can add a bonus to playing these power cards as attacks or defenses. You and your opponent will sit facing each other like so. This is your team here. You'll be facing this direction. Your opponent will be facing you. Frontline heroes facing one another. These 3 heroes in the front, they can be in any order. They don't have to be any type of numerical order or order of attack. And the reserve character in the back. Your draw piles will be on the left with your 2 discard piles eventually once you start using cards. Once your decks are very well shuffled, they are now your draw pile, you determine who goes first. Flip a coin. Whoever wins the coin toss can choose whether or not they will go first, placing in the placing phase. Each player draws 8 cards from their draw pile before the battle begins. You do not play open-handed, but for the sake of this tutorial, I will certainly be showing you what I have in my hand. After both players have drawn their hands of 8 cards, which will constitute their hand for the battle, it's time to enter the discard phase, where you discard duplicates and unusable cards. I don't have any in my hand this first battle, lucky me, so I'm not going to demonstrate it yet, but you'll see in later hands in this tutorial that I can show you what duplicate cards look like and unusable cards, and I can show you what to do with them. After both players have discarded, you enter the placing phase. In this battle mode style of play where we're not using mission cards, you don't necessarily have to place cards. A lot of players wouldn't, but it's a very important element to this game. It is definitely something where there can be a lot of strategy to it, and so I really want to include it as part of this tutorial. Both players take turns placing cards to their characters until both players have either placed all that they would like to or all that they can place to their characters. Each character has a slot for 1 power card, 1 universe card, and 1 special card. So a character that has all 3 placing slots filled might look like this. I'm placing Colossus's Avoid 1 Attack. I'm placing a power card, a 5 strength to him, which he can play because he has a 7. Colossus can play any strength power cards up to a value of 7. And a universe card, a 6 strength to use teamwork card. Keep in mind that teamwork cards, training cards, and basic universe cards, which look like this, with a single requirement to use and a single bonus. These are basic universe cards. You'll notice they all are universe cards. So you may not place a teamwork with a basic universe card, or a basic universe card with a training, or a teamwork with a training card onto a single character, because they all are types of universe cards, and you only have 1 slot for universe cards. Another character that I will place out completely is the Hulk. It doesn't matter what your little stack of placed cards looks like. It doesn't matter what order they're in. I'm going to place a training, a power card, and a special card to Hulk. This may not be the best strategy for placing, but this is what I'm doing to demonstrate to you what it looks like. I'll place a 3 fighting power card to Beast, and I will hold my 1 energy in hand. Notice I did not place any cards to Thing because he cannot attack or be attacked while he is in reserve. If I had drawn his single special card, then I would place that to Thing so that it would be ready to use when he comes to the front line later in the game. A reserve character comes to the front line after one frontline character has been KO'd. Let's say in this example that I won the coin toss. I decided that I wanted to go first. I began placing in the placing phase, and now I get to take the first turn of the battle. To begin with, I am going to use my teamwork card from Colossus. This will be a 6 strength attack against my opponent's Professor X. My opponent has defended my attack with a 6 energy power card. The opponent's power card will go to his power pack, which is a type of discard pile. And my teamwork card, because it's a universe card, will go to my dead pile. A teamwork card can only be used to attack, and it must have at least one follow-up attack made after the initial attack. In this case, I've decided to use my +1 fighting to first teammate, which will be Beast. Beast applies that +1 fighting bonus to this 3 fighting power card. Again, I will attack Professor X, but this time it's from Beast as the teammate following up the teamwork card. Let's say that Professor X is unable to defend that or chooses not to defend that. This now becomes a hit in the current battle. I've decided not to make a second follow-up using the second bonus, which must be of the other suit. It would be an energy, but I've opted not to take that second bonus in order to conserve my power cards. But a teamwork card must always be followed up by at least one attack from a teammate. My opponent is using Human Torch to attack the Hulk with a 2 strength power card. I can easily defend it using the 8 strength power card, but that would be a waste of this 8 strength power card. So I've decided to defend it using this 1 energy power card in conjunction with my training card. A 1 is not enough to match or exceed the numeric value of this attack, but with this bonus, it becomes a 5 energy defense. Training cards and basic universe cards may be used to attack or defend, but they always must be combined with a power card of one of the listed power types. Hulk meets this requirement. He has 5 or less energy to use. He has a 2. He also meets the other requirement were I to combine this with a fighting power card. I am not, but this is 5 or less fighting to use, and he has a 4. So this 5 energy will defend Hulk from this 2 strength power card. It is now my turn. I am going to attack Professor X with my 5 power card, which may only be played by Colossus because it has been placed to Colossus. None of your other characters may play a card that has been placed to a different character. Colossus is attacking Professor X with a 5 strength power card. Again, in this example, Professor X has either chosen not to defend or cannot defend, and this becomes another hit in the current battle. My opponent is playing a Professor X special card. This acts as a level 4 energy attack, may make 1 additional energy attack. Professor X is attacking Hulk. Perhaps my opponent's strategy is trying to knock out one of my 8 stat characters, or at the very least, to get me to use this 8 power card to defend against a lesser numerical value attack, in this case a 4. I'm going to choose to let that 4 land as a hit in the current battle against Hulk. The opponent has decided not to make the additional energy attack, so it is my turn again. I'm going to play this 8 strength power card as an attack against Professor X again. And once again, it is not defended. Professor X now has a total of 16 hit points. If I get 4 or more hit points on Professor X, then I've reached 20 points or more, and Professor X will be KO'd. That's called cumulative KO. Another way that I can KO Professor X would be to land an energy hit on him. Then he would have hits of all 3 power types, and he would be Spectrum KO'd. Let's say, for the sake of this example, that no one has any more playable cards in their hand, and this battle is over. You'll notice that I'm cutting this battle a little bit short. You can see I still have a Hulk special card that could be played. Perhaps my opponent has some cards that could be played. Again, in this style of gameplay, where there are no mission cards, a turn would have to play out until all usable cards are played. But I'm trying to streamline this tutorial as well as show you that once you start incorporating mission cards, very often you will have cards that are still placed to your characters from the previous battle, entering into a new one. So I'm demonstrating that here. All hits to current battle are tucked under the character and become hits on the character's permanent record. Whoever had the most hits to current battle, in this case I did with 16 versus their 4, gets to go first next battle. In this case, that's me. Now my opponent and I draw another hand of 8, and I have duplicates, so I have to discard. I have 2 power cards with a value of 6. It doesn't matter what the power type is when it comes to power cards. If you have a duplicate of any value, regardless of power type, when it comes to power cards, you have to discard down to 1. My 6 strength will go into the power pack, and I will hang on to this other 6 strength. I do not have any more duplicates, whether in hand or placed. If I had not played the 8 strength power card on Hulk last battle and it were still placed, that would count as a duplicate of what I have in my hand, and I would have to discard this 8 strength power card. Duplicates in hand are the ones that you discard. You do not discard duplicates that are placed. But to reiterate, a placed card on one of your characters will count as a duplicate of what is in your hand, and you'll have to discard from your hand. Because I won the last battle, I get to go first in the placing phase. I'm going to place Beast's Negate card. I'm going to place my 8 strength power card. I'm going to place a 6 strength power card on Beast. That's the highest value that he can use with a strength power grid of 6. I cannot place this Colossus special because Colossus already has a special placed to him. I've decided not to place any more cards, and my opponent is finished placing as well. As a reminder, we alternated placing cards. I get to go first. I'm going to play Colossus's 7 fighting attack against Professor X. If this is successful, then this will cumulative KO him. Professor X has defended this with an 8 energy power card. The cards go in their respective discard piles. Now my opponent is using a 1 fighting power card combined with a training card to give a bonus of +4 from Human Torch. This becomes a 5 fighting attack. They're attacking Hulk. With the cards in my hand, I am able to use a 2 energy because Hulk meets that requirement with his energy of 2. Combined with this training card, 5 or less energy to use, +3 bonus. This becomes a 5 energy. This 5 energy will defend this 5 fighting attack from my opponent. And all cards go into their respective piles. I'm left with 1 in hand, a 1 energy power card. Hulk is going to play his special card, Enraged, against Professor X. This would be for the KO if it is successful. Now read the special card text. Acts as a level 8 strength attack, +1 for each hit on Hulk's permanent record. He has 1 hit. The numeric value is a 4, but it is 1 card. It's a single hit. So this becomes a 9 strength attack against Professor X, making it more difficult to defend. Professor X does not defend it, and he is cumulative KO'd because he now has more than 20 hit points between this hit from the current battle and the hits on his permanent record. They equal 20 or more. Professor X is cumulative KO'd. The hit from current battle will stay. The hits from permanent record go into their proper discard piles. Professor X is flipped over to denote that he has been KO'd. A KO'd character can no longer attack or be attacked for the remainder of game, and any cards that were unique to them, like their special cards, they now become unusable cards and would have to be discarded from your hand during the discard phase. Now it is my opponent's turn. They are going to use Human Torch's 11 energy attack. Human Torch may not attack for remainder of battle. They are going to play that against Hulk. Beast is going to defend Hulk with this negate. This is how this card works. Negates the effect of any one special card played by opponent. It is a team defense card, and this is a special card. So both the 11 attack is negated, and Human Torch may not attack for remainder of battle. That part of the special is also negated. Human Torch could continue to attack. These cards go into their respective discard piles. Hulk is going to attack Iron Man with an 8 strength power card, but Iron Man defends it with his radar warning, avoid 1 attack. A special card like this can only be used to defend Iron Man because it is his special card. My opponent is playing a 2 multi-power card from Iron Man as an attack against Hulk. They have declared it to be a fighting attack. You should always declare any of your multi-power cards. I only have this 1 energy power card in hand, so this is a hit on Hulk on his current record. Notice how nobody is attacking Colossus because they know if they do, I can immediately avoid it. And they only know this because this card is not in hand. It is placed to Colossus, which of course your opponent can see. It is now my turn, and Beast is going to attack Iron Man with a 6 strength attack. It's a hit. Iron Man has decided either not to defend it or he can't defend it. It is now my opponent's turn, and I've learned that my opponent could have defended it because Iron Man is attacking Hulk with this 6 fighting. The opponent is taking a gamble and assuming that I can't defend it because I couldn't defend this 2 fighting. They don't know what this last card in my hand is. Unfortunately, I cannot defend that, and Hulk has now been Spectrum KO'd. He has this energy hit on his hits in permanent record. He now has a fighting hit in his hits to current battle. He also has this multi-power card, which is similar to a wild card. It can become whichever type my opponent needs it to. So it is considered a strength hit. Hulk has been KO'd because between his hits to current battle and hits on permanent record, he has all 3 power types landed successfully as hits on him. So these hits to current battle stay. Hulk is KO'd. Hits on his permanent record will go into the appropriate discard pile. When a frontline character is KO'd, the reserve character does not enter the front line until the next battle. It's my turn, and I'm going to play the last card I have in hand as a 1 energy attack against Iron Man. Iron Man does not defend it, so now we add up the hit points from current battle. I have 15, my opponent has 8. So once again, I've won that battle, but the cost to both of us was that battle, 2 characters were KO'd. The hits from current battle on your KO'd characters now go to the proper discard piles. The hits from current battle on a character who is still active go in their permanent record. The defeated characters go into the dead pile in this original game, and the reserve characters will move up in anticipation of the start of the next battle. The way to win this battles style of gameplay where you're not using mission cards is to KO all of your opponent's characters. That's how you win. I'm going to go ahead and draw 8 cards. Don't forget, the discard phase, where you have to discard unusable cards as well as duplicate cards. Ooh, I've got quite an unfortunate hand here. Hulk has been KO'd. These are unusable. They have to go into the dead pile. I also have 2/4 power cards. They are different power types, but they are considered duplicates. One of them has got to go. I'm going to discard this for energy because only one of my characters could use it. All of my characters can use this for fighting, so I will retain it. After the discard phase, you start placing again. I won the last battle, so I get to begin placing. I will place an 8 strength to use teamwork card on Thing, a 7 strength to use, +3 to strength basic universe card on Colossus, and I'll place a 4 fighting onto Beast. I'm left with 2 cards in hand, a 1 and a 2 multi-power card. So the battles will continue until one player has KO'd all of their opponent's characters. That is how you win this style of gameplay, using nothing but cards from the original 1995 set of Overpower. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We'd love to have you join us in the Overpower Facebook group and or the Overpower Discord group. Keep an eye out for the new Overpower cards coming from the company Lazarus Rising Games. The Kickstarter campaign begins October 15th, 2024. We're entering a new era of Overpower cards with multiple sets coming from multiple different intellectual properties. Let's get these cards back in stores and get some new players playing it. Be sure to check out my other how-to video that is quite a bit longer, but uses the 4-grid versions. It uses all of the cards that are currently available, whether they be from any of the 90s sets or some of the new cards that have been printed just prior to these new sets being released. In that video, the characters I'm using have the Intellect power grid, and there are a few of the later card types as well. Thanks so much for watching. Go play some cards.